Doing a Ben May here where I'm shopping for my wife's car, but really I'm deciding what it should be.
VW is the worst case scenario. They were like, we advise a new gearbox because you want to charge me £7,000 without labour just for the part.
I don't think there's many of our members who own Dacia Sandero Stepways because it's the worst car I've ever driven. It's absolutely terrible. It's gutless. It's got no power whatsoever.
Welcome to episode 5 of the Ottano podcast with your hosts once again, TJ, Elliot, and Ben over here. I can't believe it's episode 5 already. I mean, it's we're churning out the podcasts, which feels good, and hopefully you guys are in this content-rich world that we live in. Hopefully you guys feel blessed for having the Ottano podcast on your subscriptions. And if you haven't subscribed, please click and subscribe as we try and build something sustainable that hopefully will still be around in a couple of months. But we've been enjoying it. We've been enjoying chatting about cars, which is what we end up doing anyway. And it gives us an excuse to set aside this hour or so and actually just chat about cars and actually have something to demonstrate that we've been doing some work. So we're enjoying the Ottano pod. I hope you guys are. What have we been up to this week in cars? Let's have a little roundup of what we've all been doing on the in the car space. Who wants to go first?
I'll let Elliot go first because we all want to hear about his hire car experience.
Yes. So I'm currently out in Greece on holiday, and we obviously spoke about my hire car sort of nervous anticipation last week before I went on holiday, and now I'm here. Good news is I did not get a Citroen C3 Aircross.
Yes.
So
the Lord.
I did say to the man at the desk, I said that my friend told me that I can't get a C3 Aircross. It's the worst car he's ever had. So please don't give me one. And,
what did he say?
He said, okay, no problem. We can give you something else. Then he tried to sort of upsell me a few times. He kept trying to upsell me actually to an automatic. But I'm probably the first person he's ever come across who's like, no, I don't want an auto, I want a manual. Every time he tried to upsell me, I was like, oh, okay, that sounds all right. Is it a manual? And he was like, no, it's an auto. And I was like, well, then I don't want it. I may have shot myself in the foot slightly because I now have been given a Dacia Sandero Stepway.
No. Oh,
mate,
my God.
that's terrible.
Which
when your car is called when your car's called a stepway, it sounds more like an exercise a piece of equipment for old people than it does a car.
Yeah. So I think I'm probably safe in saying that. In saying my true thoughts about the car, I don't think there's many of our members who own Dacia Sandero Stepways. If you do, I apologise because it's the worst car I've ever driven. It's absolutely terrible. It's gutless. It's got no power whatsoever. The gear shift is weirdly very, very, very just clunky and notchy. The throttle response is really odd. It's got absolutely no power until like you're sort of halfway in throttle, and then it seems to it hits sort of boost, I guess. And
boost.
So it basically goes like the power is either on or off. So either you basically can't make it up a hill, or you're going like flat out, and all your passengers are just getting boosted around. So it's a terrible car. Which is a shame because the roads out here on this Greek island are actually quite good. There's some really quite fun, twisty little passes over the island. So would be quite fun.
You're in the stepway, just lamenting the fact that you can't rag it down these twisties.
I am. I'm heeling towing in a stepway, which just feels wrong. But anyway, make it fun. There is some fun in having something with no power in that you can be flat out pretty much the whole time.
Can you get up a hill though? Because sometimes you get a hire car like that and you're like, there's a big hill and you're in second and you're like, I'm gonna have to go down to first. I've never done this before.
Well, no, fortunately you can, but you've got to be like literally flat and you've got to be in the right gear. Otherwise, doesn't matter how hard you push the pedal down, you slow down rather than speed up. So,
There is
yeah, it's
something though. There is
quite fun.
there is something to be said about just going on twisties in a car that's clearly underpowered and just having to literally squeeze everything you can out of it
Yeah,
and still
yeah.
feeling underwhelmed by it. But there's something fun about doing that on a holiday that I think makes for a fun holiday experience. So
It does. And you don't feel bad about ripping it to the red line in a hire car because you're just going to give it back to them next week and someone else is going to do the same thing again.
exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, that's been interesting. And then one other thing about holiday, which is quite nice, is you have time to actually sit down and do nothing and read. And I've never really been into reading books, but I do like reading Evo magazine. So I've been going back through some old issues of Evo magazine, and I've been reading through actually they're doing this eras. They've been doing, or they did in the last 6 months or so. They did this eras test. So they tested cars from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and then 2020s, and they kind of were trying to decide which era is best. And they took 6 or 7 cars from each era, which has been quite fun. A lot of those cars actually are cars that our members have, which has been quite fun to read about some of the cars that our members have and that we've seen recently at events that have piqued interest, but I've never really known that much about. So yeah, I mean, it's been quite interesting. I think I expected them to bash the 2020s more than they did, but they were actually quite appreciative of what the performance car is like in 2020, and there's some hope for the future, although fair to say that the 2020s didn't win.
Yeah, I bet they didn't.
Any guesses on what's the winning era?
2010s.
No,
anything from 2010 to 2015 is good.
Yes, depends on who's writing it, but I think there's some pretty iconic cars of the 80s and 90s, so I would say possibly 90s.
Yeah, so the 2010s were the winners. The 2010s were the winners, but some of the journalists had the 90s at their top. Some of them had the 2000s at the top. I would probably put the 2000s at the top for me, but
that's just.
yeah.
I mean, there's only one car in there.
996, the fellow 996 lovers putting the 2000s in there. Love it.
Well, actually, the 996 was in the 90s group because they tested the standard. They tested the Gen 1 Carrera 996.
Oh, okay.
But the 2000s had like the R8 V8 manual. They had E46 BMW M3, 997 Carrera S. Like they had V8 Vantage, the first V8 Vantage, the 4.3 Vantage manual. So there's some great cars in there. I think
good drivers' cars.
Some serious drivers' cars. It made me think about an R8 V8 manual. I've driven those before. Yeah, I've driven one of those before, and it was so fun to drive. The gated manual, the V8.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me that it is actually such a great car, that, and a lot of cars for the money.
I would have thought that you would actually not like that car that much because supposedly it's got quite a bit of understeer.
Yeah, I mean, when I drove it, I didn't feel the understeer. I think actually the V8 manual version doesn't have as much understeer because it's not got the big heavy V10 behind it. So a lot of people prefer the V10. I actually think the V8 is better.
Really interesting.
Yeah, it feels quite lightweight and very agile actually from when I drove it, at least. I really liked it. And the engine is epic. I love that engine.
Yeah. Well, I've had that engine in a car that I didn't like.
Yeah, it's definitely been in a few cars.
But I mean, it's a good engine. It's a good engine. I'll give you that. But that was the only good thing about the RS4.
Yeah, that generation of RS4 is not good. It's the steering is so bad. But anyway, that was my.
That was your holiday. So
most
people when they go on holiday, they bring sort of a John Grisham novel or something, and you've brought the back catalogue of Evo magazine.
Yeah.
I'm the same, TJ. I will literally go to WH Smith's, into the exorbitantly expensive magazine area where you pay about 10 quid a magazine nowadays, and I'll just pick 5 or 6 of the car magazines, and that will be the only thing that I read. I'm basically a child. I look at pictures of cars and then I go to sleep.
Yeah. To be fair,
So
I haven't got hard copies. I've somewhat cheated, and I'm sure that if Evo magazine were listening, they'd probably shake their heads at me. But I've been reading it on Apple News. You know, the Apple News
fair
app.
enough.
You can get magazine subscriptions and stuff. So
Okay.
I'm lucky in that I can just dip in and out of different out the back catalogue.
I think Ben is one of the few millennials keeping the dying art of printed motor journalism alive. I think most people have shifted to YouTube or perhaps what Elliot's doing, getting them digitally. But I love that. It's fun. I tend to leaf through in airports and then leave them and don't buy them, which is worse. But that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So
what about Ben?
Mine's just fully depressing. The only thing I've been doing is basically sorting out, car admin, where it's just like I've got to get like a alloy wheel repaired because Elliot broke it. I've got to get a.
To be fair, you've got to tell the full story. That sounds like I've driven badly, but I haven't driven badly. The potholes in the UK have done it to the car.
To be fair, albeit that I did live in that town for 5 years and I never managed to do quite that, but you come in and out, boom.
Yeah, fair enough.
Then I've just been basically dealing with the gearbox issue on the VW, and the update is took it to VW, and they were going to do a full diagnostics on the car because a local independent said that there'd been a recall on the DSG gearboxes on the VWs. I hadn't appreciated how unreliable some of these gearboxes, the DSG gearboxes on those cars are. How many recalls, how many technical campaigns they've had. And otherwise I probably wouldn't have bought the car if I knew like what the bill was going to be if it does go wrong. Anyway, my car supposedly did go in 2022 for the recall. It had a software update so that it makes it less sensitive to, supposedly beforehand, there was an error light that would pop up on the dash, and it was very sensitive to it if the hydraulic pump in the gearbox started to fade a little bit. And when there wasn't actually an issue. So people would come in, they'd realize that there's no issue, but by that point they'd already had their gearbox disassembled and paid a fortune in labor charges. So they made it less sensitive. Mine had gone through that process. So they basically said the fact that the software was updated and you've got this issue means it's actually an issue. So cut a long story short, best case scenario, 2.5 grand. Worst case scenario, well, I mean, VW is the worst case scenario. They were like, we advise a new gearbox. And I was like, well, I'm going to get a second opinion on that one because you want to charge me 7 grand without labor just for the part. I was like,
just for the gearbox.
So I'm taking it to a specialist gearbox company next week. You boys don't even know, but you're dropping me off there on our way to on our way to a meeting because it's only 5 minutes away. And it's going to basically have the pump done there, and if the pump doesn't fix it, then it will have to be a gearbox rebuild, which will be 5 grand at the independent. But hopefully, they said 90% of the chance, 90% likelihood that it's just the pump.
Okay.
So
how much is the pump to do then?
The pump is inside the gearbox. So you still have to take the gearbox out, disassemble the gearbox and put it back together. So the pump component, I actually don't know, but the pump and the labor is 2.5 grand. And I got three places to quote on it, and it was all the same. So,
oh man, brutal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've actually bought another car. And it arrives tomorrow, but I'm going to save that for the next podcast, and I'm going to give you my impressions. And I'm going to keep you on tenterhooks. But let's just say I did not win the fight with Cherie this time.
Okay.
Because I was pushing so hard for the Renault Megane 280 or 300. She was like, Ben, I don't need a cup chassis. Anything that says cup chassis is not what I want. I was like, but this one's got, on Auto Trader, it says 25% largest boot in its class, 421 litres. I went on a massive sell. And she was like, no, I want something that's comfortable and has a big boot. I want an estate that's comfortable with a big boot. And yeah, I didn't win. But I will tell you one thing, Elliot, is because of this gearbox fiasco, I've bought a manual.
Okay. Interesting.
And manual is economical, it's comfortable, but actually everyone who's driven it says it actually handles well for what it is. 2018. I'll leave it with you. You can have a little guess, but you'll see it on Monday.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm just trying to think about that one, but
yeah,
I'll mull it over.
There's no cup or no chassis in the name at all. So
it is naturally aspirated as well.
Naturally aspirated.
Exactly.
Okay,
it's going to make it really. It's going to make it really difficult for you. I was like, I don't want a turbo. It might blow up. I don't want a DSG gearbox. It might blow up. So I've got manual, naturally aspirated, but still reasonably new, and has got reasonable handling characteristics. It's not a sports car by any means. Not even the sports variant of it, but it looks like a nice car, and it takes me back. I'll just tell you that it takes me back.
To 2018.
Okay.
No, not to 2018.
To those pre-COVID days. It takes me all the way back.
Okay.
I've seen it. I know it's kind of an obscure one. I don't know if it's going to be a tough one to guess. But we'll do a grand reveal then next time.
Okay.
But I've been given the lowdown on what it is. So be keen to see it in person.
Interesting.
There we go.
Let's see. What
New
about
cars.
you two, Darren? What's your week in cars? Anything
Yeah,
interesting?
no. So we both had gearbox issues. Ben with his Volkswagen Golf, and me with an old FJ40. I don't have any updates yet on the gearbox. They're still waiting to tear it down. Classic mechanics just end up taking a lot longer, don't they? Because they know it's not a car you're relying on, and so they end up just pushing it to the back and just sort of occasionally updating you. So I'm hoping to sort out a gearbox issue there. But no, I think I was able to get out in the 996 with the Ottano members last weekend.
Nice.
That was really fun. We did a drive out around Oxfordshire, and we went really early. I mean, we met at 6 a.m. and we were in convoy by 6:15. So these are like the committed drivers. But it was a really good group of like 15 cars, and a good mix of everything from a Lamborghini Huracan to a C63S. Lovely group, and it was fun to just do a nice loop when the roads are quiet. And if you do get out that early in the summer, obviously it's bright and it's fresh, and the roads are dead quiet. And so we were able to enjoy some B-road blasting together and finish up at a nice sort of hotel for a coffee out on the terrace, which was really nice. And so at the end of this podcast, we tend to do a little roundup of our favorite members' cars of the week. And so I'll let you know what my favorite car was from that drive out. But it was nice. It was nice to get out in the 996 Turbo and just enjoy it in its natural habitat on an English B road, which was fun. So that was good. That's pretty much been my week. Nothing more exciting than that so far.
Wow, TJ. Hang on a sec. There is one thing.
What's that? What is it?
As in, you have actually been eyeing up a potential electric car purchase for Sonia.
Okay, that is true. That is true. At the risk of wading into some dangerous waters here, I am potentially making my first foray into the EV world. Wow. So my wife has a Golf GTI. It's a Mark 6. It was a Japan import. It's a great car. Actually, really fun to drive.
It's really
It's
fun,
just really,
that car.
it's just a thirsty car to be driving around doing the school run in, in between villages and in town. And my wife doesn't do a lot of motorway driving or long trips. She's usually just dotting around between, between here and neighboring villages, probably doing like 10 miles a day. And so I've got a friend who is a specialist
Wait,
in.
TJ. I don't think you should say what it is. I think you should just say some of the features of the car, and then Elliot's got to
Okay.
come back, and he's
So-
got to try and
I've got-
guess.
Okay,
I've got
so we'll
homework
leave it.
after this podcast.
We'll leave that. We'll leave Ben's reveal and my future reveal. So it's an EV. It's fully carbon fiber bodied,
Okay.
and it has what you could describe as suicide doors.
I know exactly what it is.
You know what it is already. Okay.
Go on then.
It's a Citroen Ami.
No,
No.
No.
Oh, you're not.
It's
Oh,
not
the Renault
Citroen
Twingo.
Ami.
It's not the.
How's she going
Not
to take
the-
the kids in a 2-seat piece of plastic?
Oh no,
Well-
you're far away. You're far off.
I'm far off. Okay. Well, then maybe I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you
I
don't know
knew
yet.
I knew immediately. There's only one car. Think about a brand that is a mainstream brand that for a period of time in the 2010s started to do weird doors on their cars. Gull-wing doors. Well, not gull-wing doors, but scissor doors, suicide doors.
Yeah.
Oh, what is it? Is it an i3?
That's the
There we
one.
go.
They're
That's
actually,
the
they're,
one.
actually supposed, they're actually supposed to be really good cars, to be fair.
So yeah,
I've heard a lot of people say that they're really, really good.
I test drove one a couple years back at a dealership, and I was just worried about depreciation on it, and and all of the standard stuff you'd be worried about when buying an EV. Since then, one of my my close friends and neighbors actually has become an i3 specialist in the last couple of years, and he basically buys them, he goes through them, he fixes them, and he sells them, and so he's doing quite well from it, actually, because there's not many i3 specialists out there, and the car is got a little bit of a following because it's kind of a quirky car with some character and some unique features. So he was basically giving me the rundown, and initially I was like, I want an i3s with a range extender on it, and he was like, are you sure? Why? And I was like, well, the i3s is faster. He was like, you can just do a software flash on it and you'll get the exact same performance out of a standard i3. He said the only difference is that i3 has different suspension, it's a wider stance, and it's a lot less comfortable to drive in daily driving. Like, it's so stiff, it's really bumpy, it's crashy. Like, you might want to reconsider for daily driving just getting the standard i3. I was like, interesting. And he was like, I spend most of my time fixing the range extenders. They're basically like little 2-cylinder scooter engines that are wedged onto the battery motor that effectively charge it when it's going towards zero.
Yeah.
And he was like, they have common issues and they fail all the time. And he was like, just get the big battery version of the standard i3 and you'll get 150, 160 miles out of that thing. And if you're just doing little, short trips every day, you might spend £2.50 overnight on a low tariff charging that, and you may get 70 miles a night if you're just doing it on a standard, what they call a granny charger, which is just your 3-pin plug.
Yeah.
And so when you do the maths on it, you're like, oh, I might be spending like 1p a mile to run this thing, which is pretty crazy. So, and it has some character and it's cute, and I love this. I love the way the doors open. And there's a particular interior spec that is just me. It's just me.
I love it.
And so
Go
I
on.
love tweed seats in cars.
Yeah.
It's really random, but I really love a tweed and leather combination, whether it's on bags or on cars. And so there's one spec where it's like tan brown half leather with like a sort of like a greenish, dark greenish, brownish tweed that they do. And I'll throw a picture up. I might not be describing it that well.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool. It's like classic and it's sort of vintage in its look, and then the interior details really match it really nicely. And yeah, it's just a cool place. Looks like a cool place to be. So I'm hunting for this particular spec now. And they also do a really rare light green color, which I can't remember what they call it. It's like a metallic light sort of jade green. and it looks perfect for a little cute little car like that. So yeah, I'm doing the standard thing where you basically are, I'm doing a Ben May here, where I'm shopping for my wife's car, but really I'm deciding what it should be. But funnily enough, in this case, my wife Sonia actually really loves the idea. So yeah, I'm being patient, and the Golf GTI is a perfectly fine car, and I've got no major complaints with it other than the fact that it's just thirsty to run. And so I'm patiently waiting for the right spec to show up. And I've got my friend Chris at Flux Automotive. He's doing his thing hunting for me. And so if he finds one, I'm going to be jumping on it. But yeah, that's probably the other update, which I forgot to mention. So yeah, fair shout, Ben, for reminding us.
I like it. Well, yeah, good luck finding it. It's supposed to be a good car, so I'm not against that. And like you say, the maths, I guess, makes sense, isn't it? I think that's why most people who maybe are not really like into EVs end up considering them, because sometimes if you do that sort of driving, then the maths is quite compelling. So
yeah,
exactly. Yeah. As a second car, I think it makes sense.
We should do another podcast on performance EVs, because I watched an amazing video the other day on a GTR Litchfield tuned one versus the new Hyundai Ioniq 6N, and they are literally like, this car is amazing. And these are like famous journalists who are talking about this, comparing it versus like a well-tuned GTR. And we've got a member in our group getting a 5N as well, which has been revered as well.
The 5N was in the Evo magazine 2020s group. That was one of the cars they chose, and again, like reading about it, sounds incredible. I'd love to try one, because they are supposed to be properly good fun, and they've got this sort of simulated gear shifting and simulated noise and stuff like that. And there is something there. I think, if car makers can do that well in the future, then there's something there for the enthusiast, which is somewhat comfortable.
You add in a bit of excitement to what is otherwise quite a bland experience, and you start to create something quite interesting. If you can sort of gamify driving an EV, then it becomes quite fun, doesn't it? So there's probably a whole topic around that, but I think we're going to move into the meat of the conversation today in episode 5, which is the first topic being the 50k 2-car garage challenge. So you've got 50 grand, and you've got 2 cars to acquire for the garage. Obviously, explain what you think those 2 cars are meant to do, and how you're divvying up the 50k is completely up to you how you do it. But I've had a thought, and I've got a couple of ideas. So I'm happy to jump in first, and you guys feel free to rinse it if it's. Feel free to completely rinse this if you think this is a bad 2-car lineup. But the first one I'm going to go with, it is I think Elliot mentioned it from his Evo reading just now, but I thought what you want a car that you can take on the European road trips, that can keep up with the rest of the cars that we have. So you need your road trip warrior that you can also do fun UK meets in. It's got power. It's refined. It's a nice GT car. So I've gone with the Aston Martin V8 Vantage manual, the 4.7, and I think you need a healthy budget of 40 grand to get a good one. I think you need a healthy budget, and so the wife. I can already picture the wife, starting to get uncomfortable with the fact that I've put the majority of the budget in the weekend warrior as opposed to the daily. But I started looking at them recently, just having seen a few, V8 Vantages recently, obviously in our members as well. We've got a few, and I think that's a lot of car for the money at 40 grand. If you can get a manual 4.7, I think they're beautiful, elegant cars. Last podcast, I was going off on a tangent about naturally aspirated V8s. And I think I'm coming back to it again today, but I think that's a stunning car. I think it would be a lot of fun to drive. I don't know what they're like reliability wise. I'd be a bit concerned that my 50k budget would would need a lot more of a top
4.7
up.
is better than the 4.7
The
because they used to
4.3.
sell those. The
Yeah.
4.7s
Oh,
are
really?
better than the 4.3s.
Okay.
I've driven both in manual, and
Yeah.
I actually think the 4.3 does sound better, but I think your money is probably better off in the 4.7.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be
Yeah.
fighting some gremlins, I think. But it's definitely a good choice. Good choice. Fun car to
So
drive.
I'm gonna throw up a
Nice.
picture of a roadster in white,
Mm.
low mileage at 41,750 on Auto Trader. I reckon you could buy that for 40. Beautiful car. I mean, look at that. That is just a stunning, elegant car. That's an amazing car. So I think I'd put 40k into the V8 Vantage manual Roadster because I think it would be nice to have one convertible there. Okay, so I've got 10k left, and you need you need something that you're not going to worry about in terms of reliability. Right? It needs to just be a workhorse. It needs to be a tool. It needs to be a Swiss Army knife. And so I've gone with the Toyota Hilux double cab, 3 liter diesel, turbo diesel, invincible. You know when the
Yeah.
name of a car is invincible, that you're in safe hands with with a Toyota.
It is
And it's a pickup
indestructible,
truck. And it's a pickup truck. And you know a reputation of a Hilux is basically you just cannot destroy that thing. Right?
Yeah.
Top Gear did, I think, an episode on it where they literally tried to destroy one and it still started after they dropped it from a crane or something. And so I think, and there's something cool about being sat in a big old turbo diesel and just having that rumbling diesel and having a pickup truck, and it can kind of do everything. It can tow stuff, you can throw things in the back, you can still put the kids in the back, you can put the dog in it.
In the back,
I
does it
think
actually have proper back seats? It's not like you mean by put them in the back, you mean put them in the pickup bag.
not on the flat, not put them in the
Not on the
flatbed. No, it's a double
hillbilly.
cab. It's a proper double cab. I don't think it's a spacious rear seat arrangement, but it's got rear seats and it's got the rear deck, the rear flatbed. It's a popular car for like tradesmen, isn't it? When you think about it, like a lot of tradesmen use them. But hey, why not use it as a family car? Like it will do the job. It will start. It won't give you any trouble. And you've got a 10 grand car that, if the Aston's throwing up some issues and you need to rely on the Toyota, you'll be fine.
You can
can
transport
tow
a
the
new
Aston.
gearbox in the back of it.
You could do that. You could tow the Aston if you need to.
Yeah.
So I think that would be my. I don't know how sensible a 2-car garage is, but I've come up with that, and I think to me that makes a lot of sense. So yeah.
Fair enough. Nice. What
What about you, boys?
I'll go next. Coming from someone who has only one car at the moment and quite a boring car, and I've got an Audi A3 only, which is just a normal 1.5 sort of black edition but standard engined car. So I'm bored of having a boring car. So
You've lasted a long time, mate. I don't know how you've done it.
I've done well. I mean, I'm lucky in that I get to. I've got access to quite a few other cars, including yours, Ben. Which
you're insured on all my cars.
Does help. It does help.
Yeah.
It does help. I should probably just stop driving everyone else's car and buy one myself. But anyway, so I thought about doing the same thing as you, Tej, and just blasting all the budget on one fun car, and then leaving the loose change for something boring. But I don't want to do that anymore. I want 2 fun cars that I can get in and enjoy, regardless of whether I need to have the dog in the back or whether it's just me and a friend, or me and Emily. So for the practical car, I've pretty much split the budget down the middle here. So
I've done the same thing. I hope you don't pick one of mine.
let's see. Maybe, but let's see. But so I've got a dog, as you know, so I need something to chuck the dog in the back of, something practical. Also do like going on trips away, weekends away, where Emily and I will put bags in the back and go with friends and give people lifts and stuff. So I need something practical. So my practical choice, and we've already spoken a little bit about this engine, but not this particular model. So I'm going with a B7 Audi
B7,
RS4 Avant manual.
Nice.
So most people, prefer the saloon. I personally also prefer the saloon, but I need to put Dino the dog in the back. So I'm going RS4 Avant, manual gearbox, V8 engine, naturally aspirated, 414 brake. That's a fun car. I've driven a B7 manual. Very enjoyable car to drive. Probably won't get one with the lovely bucket seats, but they all get stolen anyway. So maybe that's a good thing. Blessing in disguise. So that's my sort of daily car. I will be getting rinsed on fuel on my daily driving, but it'll be worth it, right? It's the price we pay to enjoy these nice cars.
So Elliot, on that car, I actually watched a like a YouTube video the other day from a famous YouTuber who owns the saloon variant, JM.
Okay.
And he was basically talking about the fact that it's a phenomenal car, but for some reason you can't get any parts for that car anymore. He was like, the Audi dealers were saying that to get parts for that specific car is more difficult than a Murcielago. Like it was and so JM has spent like an absolute fortune basically trying to either have different parts made or acquired from different countries because certain things have gone wrong. Like it's been off the road. It was off the road for many, many months. So as long as you're okay to having like, let's see what the second car is, because you might be going in that one with the dog.
Well, I'm not sure I will because my second car is a 675 kilogram car with not very much space in it. So my second car is a manual gearbox. As I said, only weighs 675 kilos.
There's a Caterham. No
power
Series
steering.
1 Elise?
It is a Series 1.
It's a Lotus.
Elise S1.
Yeah, nice.
So again, another car that was in the Evo eras group, and actually one of the journalists from Evo owns one, and they give it very high praise. It's supposed to be properly fun. It's proper purist car again. Not the most exciting engine, but it doesn't matter. The engine doesn't dominate the experience in that car. And I just like the fact that it's tiny. It's so light. I mean, 670 kilos is ridiculous.
That is
like by today's standards, impossible. So
they had to stop making them because if you crash them, you are fully dead. Dead.
Yeah, it's partly why the dog won't go in it. The other reason is because there's no space for the dog.
Part of the excitement of driving one, though.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it's a car you can enjoy at not super silly speeds either. So that was the thinking, but and it's pretty much you can get good ones of both for pretty much around 25k mark, give or take a little bit for each one. But it sounds like I might need an extra 10 or 20 grand to keep the RS4 alive. So maybe that was a bad choice, but there you go. That's probably my maths.
Nice.
That's a good shout. Both are fun cars. That's a fair split.
Yeah.
So 2-car garage for me, very simple. I'd keep my Alfa Giulia Quadrifoglio. But I mean, if I had to buy one new, I wouldn't be able to get my spec, so I'd have to compromise and get a lower spec one, but I'd still be able to get one for 25, 30 grand. And then the other car that I would buy would be an estate car, and it would be a 2017 C63, non-S, but I'd do a stage 1 on it. We had one of our members come in his stage 2 Elliot 700 horsepower C63 S cabriolet, and it was the last version that they made in 2021. So it had everything on this car. I've actually told him if he sells it, he needs to contact me first, which he has promised. Because he's thinking about maybe upgrading it one day for a turbo. But I love that car. And the engine is just so good. You know, and a friend of ours actually, Harry, had one in an estate form, and I loved it.
Yes.
So
yeah.
So I think you can make it look a little bit more modern. You can put the is it called the Panamera grill on it, or the grill with the vertical slats on the front on the 2017, which didn't initially come with it. You can you can do some subtle modifications to it, and then it's such a tunable engine and sounds so good. So those would be my two cars. Cherie would be driving around in a decatted 700 horsepower. Yeah. With the baby and the kids, but that'd be all right.
Can you get one for 25
grand? Not sure that meets
grand?
the criteria that she said earlier.
You can get one for 25.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can.
Just about.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of car, 25 grand, to be fair.
Yeah, most of them are 30, so I'd probably have to find one at 28 and then do some dodgy things to make sure I got it for 25.
Yeah, you're slightly stretching the budget there, I'd say, with the quadrifolio for 25 grand as well.
Worst case scenario, I have to get a C43, which still sounds amazing, a C43 estate, and that I can get for 20. And so if I had to compromise, that would be the compromise.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
But that's that engine does sound brutal, doesn't it? When you put, I mean, I think the guy who came to with the C63S, who's a member that came out, I think he just put downpipes on it and maybe some different air filters. The sound is crazy. It sounds ridiculous.
It does sound crazy.
It's an amazing engine. Yeah, it's an amazing engine.
That's a really good engine, that 4-litre V8. It's properly good. Good choices.
Good choices, right? So let's all go off and in a week's time come back with those cars and 50 grand later. There you go. Irresponsible financial decisions being made in the coming week. Okay, well that was a fun exercise. That brings us nicely now to the next, if you like, you could say challenge of the podcast, which is picking your favorite, let's say 2 paint colors. If you have more, that's fine, but start with your favorite 2 paint colors and which cars you've seen them on or you think they work best on. And let's discuss to see whether that's that's a good shout or not.
Yeah.
Why don't we get Elliot to go first?
Sure. So I've got quite a big list, but I will start with my first. I'll start with 2 first that I think one is definitely one of my favorites, and it's probably going to be quite predictable in terms of what car it appears on quite often. So my favorite choice is actually speed yellow on
nice.
Typically on the 996 GT3. But TJ, there is a 996 turbo on the market, a manual turbo
in the UK.
In speed yellow in the UK, which is currently on, I think it's on Auto Trader from memory or something, or it might be Piston Heads, but it's quite big money. It's about 55 grand, but it's been tastefully modified. It's in speed yellow. It's got like bucket seats inside it. It honestly looks so good. We'll try and chuck a picture up for those watching. But I just love that color. I just think it looks. I think it looks so good. It's a bit more like orangey yellow than the new race yellow that they put on the newer Porsche 911s. But I just think that color looks so good. I mean, typically it's on the 996, which maybe I'm biased, but I do like a yellow car. So, I think yellow is quite a good color.
So Elliot, like talking about 996 and colors, do you remember when I was telling you that I had a friend at school whose dad had 2 996 GT3s, one in yellow and one in pink? I saw it. I saw the pink one, and I was freaking out, and I got Cherie to take a picture of it, like literally just by the Esso station in Beaconsfield. It's the worst picture ever. You can't even tell from the picture, but we saw the infamous
Wow.
Pink OEM.
Wow.
996.
Do you think?
GT3.
Do you
Wow,
think it
that's
was
crazy.
PTS? Do you think it was ordered from factory, PTS?
Yeah, it
in
was.
pink?
Yeah. He
Wow.
ordered it from factory. He went to go and pick it up from Germany.
Wow.
Because I remember when I was 11 years old or something like that, and his dad was telling us that he was going to pick up his cars, and then for the next 2 years he dropped his son off every day
In
one
a
of the
pink
996
GT3.
GT, one of them, either the yellow or the pink one.
Wow.
This man sounds like my hero.
Yeah, that's
Two
special.
996 GT3s.
I'm trying to recreate that hero imagery in Aubrey's mind by taking her to school very regularly in the orange Lotus, for which all the kids gather round, and I think all the mums hate me as a result, or maybe all the dads hate me. The mums like seem all right.
Do you know what? Those are core memories, right? Being dropped off at school in an orange Lotus Exige or in a pink 996 GT3. And those are some core memories that you'll carry with you for the rest of your life.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Very true.
That's funny. So I think so. I like that shout. I like the signal yellow. Is it signal yellow or not speed yellow? Right.
Speed yellow.
Oh, speed yellow.
Signal yellow is a brilliant color as well. But speed yellow is the one that I
On a
I think
996
is my favorite. I'll send you that turbo shortly after this podcast. I'll send you guys it so you can see what I'm talking about. It looks properly good. And then there's one other color that I'll say is one of my favorites. And it's a Ferrari red, but it's not the typical Rosso Corsa, even though that is a fantastic color, and you can't go wrong buying a Ferrari and Rosso Corsa. The color I'm actually going to choose is a color that so my dad had an NF12 a few years ago, and it was in Rosso Formula 1 2007. So it's it's a triple layered red paint that was originally on the 2007 Formula 1 car. But the reason that color I think is so good is it's got this flecks of different colors, which it completely changes the way the car looks depending on the lighting. So at nighttime it looks like a different color to what it does in the daytime, and then in bright sun it looks different to what it does when it's cloudy. And I think when a color has that kind of depth to it, it can really enhance what a car that in this case is already a beautiful car. So Rosso Formula 1 2007, insane color, beautiful color, triple layered paint color. You just have to pray that you don't need it resprayed at any time because it'll never look the same. But
so that's that's different to Rosso Scuderia. So Rosso Scuderia is a different shade to this is the first time I've come across Formula 1 2007 as a specific. I'm looking at an 812 Superpast in that color right now, and it's beautiful. I see what you mean. When the sun hits it, it takes on a different sort of shade.
But it's one of those colors that you can't look at a picture online. It won't do it justice. You have to see it in the flesh, and you have to see it in different lights to appreciate it. So those are my top two. I've got a few others which I also love, but I'll let you guys do your top two first.
I love those choices. Those are good. Those are strong contenders. I'm going to start with one, and it's a color that I'm putting my money where my mouth is because I own a car in this color, and it is California Sage. So I'm going to pull up a picture of it. But basically, it's an Aston Martin color. And it was on DB4s, it was on DB5s, and then they've re-released it on it's basically a very classic Aston color. It's such a classy, refined gentleman's color that I think that. So I actually have an MGB GT that was resprayed in this color, and it looks, I think, amazing on classics. And it just, there's something about the color in the sunshine that comes alive, and it just stands out. It's just different. It's unique. It's not in your face bright. It's kind of understated, and it just screams kind of like class. I don't know how else to describe it. It looks great with chrome. It looks amazing with like a tan brown interior or a cream interior, silver wheels,
Yeah,
and it just works. It just works. So when I
elegant.
saw an MGB, I've been, yeah, I just love the color, and I there was a phase where I was like dreaming of owning a DB5 one day in this color, and I was like, yeah, I can't really afford to do that, but I found an MGB GT that someone had restored, and basically had spent a year restoring and put a Mazda MX-5 engine and gearbox in it, fully rebuilt from the ground up, and beautifully sprayed in California sage, and it looks like a baby DB5. This MGB GT, and I was like, I have to have it, and so I bought it from this guy, an old chap in the Cotswolds, and so it saved me a lot of money. The man maths I did on it, I was like, this is saving me hundreds of thousands of pounds by buying this
Instead
by
of a
buying this
DB5.
MGB instead of a DB5 in California sage. And so I love it. I think it just looks so good. I could go on for ages about it, but that's my first choice, California sage.
Very nice, very nice. That car
Nice.
just looks so good. It looks so
So,
good.
so talking about a green car, I think I might have mentioned this on a previous podcast, but I like, as you know, specs that most people don't. And
Yes,
mine
nice one, but yeah.
is Viper Green. I love that color, particularly in on something more exotic. So on like a Porsche GT3 product or anything that's basically got a big wing, whack it in Viper Green, and yeah, some bronze alloys or something like that, and that will do me.
Subtle then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very subtle. And the other color, just because it's on the same theme of, I tend to look at the Porsche color palette for inspiration, as
Great
maybe
colours.
many of us do.
Yeah.
And the other is, and Elliot, I know that you'll know it, so I don't even know the name of it. I just thought Elliot will know it, so it's fine. Is the purple that the 991.2 GT3 RS came in.
The 991.1. The
Dot one,
ultraviolet.
yeah.
Ultraviolet, yeah.
Ultraviolet. There we
Great colour.
go.
Yeah. On that
Also a
car,
great
it's a
colour.
fantastic colour. Best colour on that car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are my two choices. I'm not sure if Cherie would be all right with a daily being in one of those cars.
Not for the shy. Not for the shy.
But I know where you're coming from, Elliot, when you say having a paint color that, because neither of those colors have the depth to them that, for example, the Ferrari colors do. And we actually had a Golf GTI which had this special pearlescent white, which she still talks about to this day. I loved that white, Ben, because I could see the sparkles and it would change colors. But her new car that's coming is white as well, by the way, which I don't usually buy white cars, but it actually looks cool in this in this car. But it doesn't have that depth of finish. It's not a metallic white, unfortunately.
I'm very intrigued by this car. I need to do some googling afterwards. Well, yeah. Paints are. I love paint colors. I think Porsche. I do think do so. To be honest, VW Group do some great colors, and obviously Ferrari do some fantastic colors. I've got a few honourable mentions that I want to talk about, and maybe we chuck some images of cars in these colors up, so those that are watching rather than listening can see which colors we're talking about. But a couple of my favorites that I want to talk: Goodwood Green, really nice VW Group color. Yeah, like a dark metallic green. Just
green.
Looks super nice. It's like a British racing green.
But
it's a bit more like forest green than that. I think that's a really nice color. I've seen quite a few cars in the flesh in that color. Really like it. Rogue One, macadamia metallic. Google that.
Oh, I love it.
Macadamia metallic. Brown, dark brown metallic.
Oh, I love it. I almost bought a 997 turbo in that color when I was looking to buy the 996. And I went and drove the 997 turbo in it, and with tan leather, brown interior, and it's just again very not for everyone, but a really classy like car to have if it's your thing. Yeah.
There's a 718 GT4 RS, but again, I'll put a picture up now in macadamia metallic with gold wheels. Looks wicked. So I
With
really
gold
really like
wheels.
that.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. And then
TJ, you should have bought that car. I think that car's gone up a lot in value.
It probably has. Yeah, it was 50. It was a manual, and he was asking 50 grand for it. And this is 2 years ago. I reckon easily it would sell for 60 plus now. They've gone up. They've gone up quite a bit in the last year.
Yeah, probably should have bought that car, but but at least you got a 996.
Hindsight.
So, yeah, happy with that. And then
I'm
the last
happy with
one
my 996.
is actually not from Porsche and not from Ferrari. It's from Japan. It's Millennium Jade. It's a color that typically is on the R34 Skyline GTR. Millennium Jade. It's a really cool color. It's like a green.
Okay. Yeah.
Jade.
It's
jade
almost
color.
California sage.
It's close to California sage. But
That's
yeah,
cool.
I think that's a really cool color.
That is a cool
Something
color.
about it just gives like Japan. It just, I don't know. It's like some sort of like Japanese bamboo forest color. It's just really cool. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
Nice.
Okay, I've got one.
I
I've got one.
I wonder what the
mention.
drop-off rate in this section of the podcast has been.
Well, it would just be only the hardcore nerds will be left.
Yeah.
It's like listeners, they've already weathered the storm by just hearing about our daily lives and how we're all replacing gearboxes. It's been slowly declining, and then it gets to paint colors, and they're like, bloody hell, these guys, and boom. So if you're still on, we just want to say a big thank you. And you're probably a subscriber already, because who else is still listening at this point? But we enjoy it, and hopefully you do as well.
So it's not over yet. I've got one more honorable mention on the paint colors before we move on. Just one though, and it is Bahama Gold. So on the yellow car front, look at a Bahama Gold classic Range Rover. I don't know which other cars they did in this color, but it just for a classic Range Rover, could you get a better color than Bahama Gold? I mean, it just looks so cool. It's kind of its own shade of yellow, and paint colors are so specific because the slightest change in shade just kind of changes how the car looks. But I think that's perfect on a classic Range Rover with kind of like tan brown seats. I think that looks so cool.
Yeah, that's a cool color. Very cool color.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Right. What we got left to talk about?
Ben's soul has been destroyed, and that segues us nicely into our next topic of which car manufacturer has also lost its soul.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about some manufacturers that we think have lost some of their soul. I suspect we might have some overlap on these ones. So who wants to go first and steal the thunder?
I wouldn't say they lost their soul, but they certainly lost their way. Ferrari recently with the Luce. Like, we haven't discussed it, but and I don't think we're even going to give it much airtime. But we all know that is a monstrosity of a car, particularly at the price point that they're trying to charge. But they did do one thing, not just the V12 Manuale that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, but they actually did a subtle modification to their new F80, Ferrari F80. Have you seen it? It was launched at Goodwood. It's the exhaust.
The exhaust that's for track purposes only.
But only for track purposes.
Yeah.
May not be used for any other purposes. And you have to accept a little, yes, I'm on track, which everyone will accept, of course. But it's basically like straight through. It sounds really good. Like, it completely transforms the car.
Yeah, but it shows the fact that these, like, because there's literal noise regulations, like the decibel limits that manufacturers are allowed now are like 10 decibels lower than they used to be 5-10 years ago, which for those that understand how decibels work, that's not like, oh, that's just a little bit quieter. That's like half as quiet, which is crazy. So they it's kind of sad that that's what they have to do. They have to put an exhaust that you're only allowed to use on the track, because that's the regulations that they have to abide by. But it sounds so much better. Sounds like what a hypercar should sound like.
Yeah. Do you know how much it costs, the exhaust option?
Go on.
Guess.
Oh, it's going to be stupid, isn't it? 50 grand.
More.
What?
No, really.
More.
What's 50 grand? More than 50 grand for just an exhaust?
It's 80 grand for the track exhaust. But the thing is, you can't have that car without it. Once you've heard it, versus a regular one, you'll just be a pleb if you've got a regular one.
So honest, the people buying that car are not going to be too bothered, are they, by 80 grand?
Well, that's probably true, yeah.
Lost their soul.
I can go first if you like. I've got two.
There's probably going to be some overlap here, but yeah, you lead off.
Yeah. So the first one, which I hope I'm not insulting you, Ben, by saying this one, because you own a car from this brand, and it's actually Lotus. I think.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I think Lotus is one that has definitely lost its soul a bit. Now, I think the Emira, there's lots of mixed opinions about the Emira, and I think there's a lot of love for it, but the reality is that the Emira is actually a bit of a step away from what Lotus is really, truly sort of should be, or used to be, or whatever, however you want to put it. And when I talked about having, in our 2-car garage, the Lotus Elise S1, that to me is what kind of Lotus should be in today's day and age. And I think the Emira released, and then shortly after the Alpine A110 released, and it was sort of like, isn't that the car that you should have made, Lotus? So you've sort of just been beaten at your own game. And now they're making electric SUVs and Avijas that look like Dyson hairdryers, and I just think they've lost their way. And maybe it may be because they've commercially had to go in that direction. But we're not talking about this from a business perspective. We're talking about it from soul perspective, and I think Lotus is definitely one that's lost a bit of soul.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, they got bought by a Chinese automaker, basically to rescue the company. And they were the ones who basically funded the development for the Emira. And then the Emira was not the success that it needed to be for them to sell it in enough volume. And they had to pivot, and they pivoted to electric cars because that was the thing to do 5 years ago, and now everyone's moving away from it, and so they've got caught out, I think, timing wise. They have, however, released a new, did you see the new 420 Emira with about 2 days ago, and it's got a roof component that you can take out and store behind the seats, which is cool. It actually sounds, for the 4-cylinder variant, they've done a good job, I think, on the titanium exhaust. Sounds really good. And they've refined the looks of the rear end. And I don't think anyone would complain that the original Emira looks weren't beautiful in the first place. I think it looks awesome. Baby supercar vibes. Yeah. But this one looks even better. So who knows? Maybe the fact that it's still a 4-cylinder won't sell, but it does look really cool and sound a lot better.
I just don't know if it's got enough of the Lotus DNA. And I think I don't know. I think it should be a pure lightweight car. And I know it's not that heavy, the Emira, but when there's an option like the Alpine A110 out there, I think it does beg the question of, if you're really going for that sort of thing, are you going to buy the Lotus or are you going to buy the Alpine? Because I think if you really want that sort of thing, you're probably going to buy the Alpine. Let's be honest. And so I think, I don't know. I do feel like they've lost their soul.
I agree. I agree with you completely, and I think it's part of the reason why I bought the Lotus Exige, is because it was sort of the last of the cars that's got more modern day performance, modern day looks, but still the sort of old school. I mean, the S1 Elise is particularly compromised. I mean, the Exige is compromised already, but it's a bit of a happy medium. So we've actually got a YouTuber who's going to be reviewing that after having just driven an Amira shortly in the next month. So that will be an interesting video to come out as well.
It will.
Mm,
Yeah, it will be. It will be. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, TJ?
I think it's hard for Lotus because what made a Lotus was just ridiculously lightweight, as we discussed already in this podcast. Like impossibly light, small, hydraulic steering, and just really basic, motoring. So I think with all of the regulations you're up against, and then obviously people want some level of comfort in their car now, like AC and safety and infotainment and all the rest you'd want. The days of building a car that weighs 700, 800 kilos is just, they're gone, unless you're, building Caterhams or stuff for the track. So they're always going to face the fact that a big part of their DNA is kind of lost in the fact that they can't make those kind of lightweight cars anymore. I do agree the Amira is a beautiful looking car, but then, it's sort of like if you took the badge off of it, would you know it's a Lotus? Like, does it really, like, if you took the badge off of your Exige, you just know it's a Lotus. It still has everything that a Lotus should be. But I think nowadays they're struggling because they're not able to retain that Lotus DNA in their modern cars. And so then you are making the choice between, well, Alpine A110, that seems to be a bit more Lotus than the Amira. And so then your Lotus fans are actually like, well, why would I buy a new Lotus? So this is all
no one's
good news.
Going to buy the new A110, by the way. The electric.
Well, it's electric, isn't it? Yeah.
What, heavier and no engine. Forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole conversation in itself about what's going on there.
Yeah.
So maybe Alpine's losing its soul. But
we'll see. That's remains to be seen. But yeah. I think I don't think that's a clever move, and that's probably one for another podcast. I mean, in April we saw, when we were in the Pyrenees, we saw them testing the new Cayman, didn't we? So we got an early look at
they were staying at our hotel, yeah.
And that's obviously all EV. So I think, that's going to be an interesting one, but remains to be seen. That's a topic for later. But I think there's one other brand that came to mind, which.
Well, I've got one as well, but as in.
Go on, I reckon we've got the same one. So
I think we've all got the same one.
I think
on three. Let's say. Oh, okay, all right. I was going to say on three, and I was about to go Jag.
I mean, that's not. I can't even talk about that. That's going to give me PTSD. That's so horrible. But no, as in genuinely, I think Mercedes completely lost its way. They used to be synonymous with. Well, they were the pinnacle of luxury, beyond Rolls-Royce and Bentley. Like, if you looked at it, it was the S-Class. And whilst S-Class is now fantastic for tech, like innovation and technology in a new car, which often filters down to new models, the quality in them is nowhere near as good as it used to be. Like, it looks way too plasticky inside in a lot of areas. There's way too many screens in every Mercedes. They've gone berserk. Like, BMW have been much more restrained in that way, and I think they've taken a lot of market share as a result. And then the decision with the C63 was criminal. Everyone must be fired for that decision. Like, it's as if they didn't understand their customer base at all. Like, literally not even an iota of respect for the people who had bought those cars for decades. And now they're bringing it back. I'm sure you saw the announcement in the last couple of weeks. They're bringing back the flat plane crank V8, and it's going to appear in a number of new models. Something called a CLE, I think, is going to be released, just because I think they don't want to call it the C class anymore, just because it might give PTSD to all those people who saw that 4-cylinder monstrosity, 2.5 ton car.
Yeah.
But I think they lost their way. They're both at the top end in terms of the luxury side, but also on the performance side. It's good to see them coming back, but yet to be seen if they can do it in a good way or not.
Yeah, I
But
completely agree. I wrote AMG specifically.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
But I actually agree with what you said about Mercedes-Benz as well. But I just think, yeah, specifically with AMG, I just think they chose to ignore the one thing that makes them an AMG. And I
yeah,
know it's hard with the regulations and so on and so forth, but there's things you can do, and you just don't do what they did, which is like you don't take the heart of what makes it an AMG out and put a four-cylinder engine in there, which is just completely uninteresting. And I think they got showed that you can't actually just do what you want and people will buy it. Like, it does matter
Yeah.
what the consumers want, and it does matter that what you offer them is, interesting in terms of understanding what your consumers actually want from you as a brand. And if you don't do that, no one will buy the car. So yeah, I think
Literally no one.
no one, literally no one, like no one bought the car.
I've heard on rumors that they only sold 5 in the UK.
I heard 3.
Wow.
That was what I heard.
3.
wow.
Maybe it was 5, but yeah, I saw one. I think I told you I saw one the other day on the road. The first one I've ever seen. I was just like, why did you buy that? That must be a
Wow.
press car or something, because there's no way somebody actually went out and bought it, surely.
Well, maybe we'll get the real numbers from one of our members who's head of business at one of the Mercedes dealerships.
True.
True. We'll get the real figures and report back.
Yeah, that's it. We will.
But Mercedes still make the AMG GTR, don't they? They're still making the AMG GT series, aren't they?
It's not the same one. It's a different one.
It's not the same. Yeah.
But it's the GT63 now. And to be honest, I'm halfway through an article in the Evo magazine comparing the GT63 SE Performance, MC20 Artura, and Vantage. And this E Performance, I mean, again, it's okay. It's got 805 brake horsepower, which, yes, that is a crazy amount, but it's also absolutely obese. I mean, it weighs a stupid amount. I mean, I think it weighs 2,400 kilos or something like that.
No, really? Okay. Wow.
That's
you saying,
I mean, the Artura is 600 kilograms lighter. I'm choosing to ignore that one. The Artura is 600 kilograms lighter than the AMG. So
that's ridiculous. So that's not the same car at all.
Wow. No, not the same.
They still make a G-Wagon? They do. They do.
That's a good car. That's
a good car.
That's a car with some
probably
soul.
Keeping them alive.
Yeah. That's it. So that's fair enough. I mean, Mercedes seem to be losing their way, but not as much as Jag, who I think have completely just lost the plot. And I know it's nothing new. It's been talked about for a while now, but that's got to be one of the saddest stories of a car brand losing its soul. I mean, you can't really top that from what Jaguar used to stand for, which was grace, space, and pace, right? They were an iconic brand of luxury and character as well as speed. And to now not really making any noteworthy cars whatsoever. The F-Type's obviously no longer in production, and now going fully EV. I think it's dying a sad death, really, isn't it, Jaguar?
I agree that it's yeah.
Or is it it's dead already?
I think that marketing campaign was pretty much basically standing up in front of a firing squad and just, begging them to pull the trigger, basically.
Yeah.
So that definitely didn't help. I think without that, would there be as much hatred for this new Jag that's coming out? I'm not so sure. I think I don't. I'm trying really hard not to just write it off before we see the finished product, because I do think that they could. It's clear that they're trying to create a sort of Rolls-Royce Ghost Phantom-esque type car with this new. I forget even what it's called because I don't care that much. But with this new Jag thing that they're bringing out, which is all electric.
Type
Type
00, was it?
Yeah, Type 00, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know. It could end up being like something that someone who would typically buy a Phantom, or what's the new electric one, the Spectre or something, maybe they will go. Maybe they will like the Jag. Maybe they will go and buy that instead. So maybe they are just trying really hard to pivot. I think in doing that, they have basically just, they've just said goodbye to what they used to be and all the loyal customers they did have. They're kind of deciding to ignore completely.
Let me ask you, this is like business 101, right? Because they've got to sell these cars. Now, who buys the Phantoms and the Ghosts? If you had to, like, for me, it's either celebrities or like business tycoons. That's it. Now, is any after that palaver, is any business tycoon ever buying the Jag?
Well, yeah.
After that marketing campaign, probably not.
Probably not. Is any celebrity gonna buy one?
Maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe the right type that associates with that campaign, but there's going to be few and far between.
Yeah, maybe.
I think so. I think they're not going to sell many of them, and yeah, I'm very curious to see what actually happens with it. I think it's going to need a revival, and they're going to have to come back with something completely different. I think they'll put that car out because they've already spent the money in it. See how it goes. It probably doesn't go well. And then I reckon it gets sold and someone brings it back in a different form. That would be my guess.
I also think one of the worst things they could have done is made their car a Waymo. Now, when you think of a Jag, you think of a Waymo, do you not?
Driverless car, yeah.
Are you going to go and buy what is like a Rolls-Royce Phantom competitor for a brand that's also your Waymo?
It's true.
Have you ever been in a Waymo?
No, I've got no interest in trying that, to be honest. I'm not a very good passenger with someone in behind the wheel, so I'm not sure I'd be a very good passenger with no one behind the wheel.
Oh,
no, I've not either. But it's interesting, right? I think this is maybe to round off this discussion. You know, if we were to look in the crystal ball of the future of the car industry, do you think it's fair to say that there's a future where all the big OEMs, all the big manufacturers, are effectively just going to drift towards this inevitable outcome of just creating boring passenger, cars, be they EV or whatever, and in fact, driver-focused, fun, enthusiast cars actually are no longer going to be produced by the big manufacturers, and you're going to see more independent, sort of smaller car brands coming up, either resto modding or creating new enthusiast-focused cars on a much smaller scale. And the big OEMs are just going to have to succumb to reality, which is that because of the Chinese car industry, because of the prices, being pressed, to basically unsustainable margins, you have to produce a cheap car that, basically is just a commodity that gets you from A to B. And properly cool cars now have to be left to the people that are doing them on low batches, small numbers, hand built. And you could see a whole new car industry burgeoning as a result, but it'll be on a much smaller scale. I mean, there's a future that I could see where that's probably what it's going to happen. But I don't know what you guys think.
I agree. I mean, I think I'm pretty sure the new regulations that are coming in around all these stringent things that the mainstream manufacturers have to adhere to, they don't apply to companies that sell less than 1,000 cars a year. So if you're absolutely right, if you're if you're a brand that, you know, makes these sort of resto mods, or, you know, makes something special, but, you know, just to sell a few of them, like Singer or whoever it might be, you're allowed a bit more free reign than the others are. And I think the ones that possibly might just end up being a thing of the past are, you know, the BMW M cars, the Mercedes AMGs, because they've got such a big fleet of cars that when they want to do something interesting, they have such tight restrictions to what they can actually do. So yeah, I think that absolutely is what the future will look like. It will be more of these small brands, which you know may end up in cars that are amazing. Like they may end up creating some really special cars, but the reality is, if they're only selling less than 1,000 a year, they're going to be so expensive that basically, an enthusiast who isn't also a millionaire won't be able to buy any of these cars. And so the reality is, people will probably just buy older, more special cars, and then you'll probably just get taxed ridiculously for buying them. And then, yeah, I guess those cars will probably go up in value. But it is a shame. It does. I do think the enthusiast is going to have to fork out a lot of money, really, to stay enjoying. Stay enjoying enthusiast cars. But
it's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm actually slightly more optimistic on that front. I think we've gone through what might be the worst of it. And I agree that the mainstream manufacturers, you can't get away from noise regulations and things like that until actually Ferrari did what they did. And I think if you can start putting, if BMW suddenly think, you know what, if Ferrari put a track exhaust on its car, I want to put a track exhaust. You know, people take the M3 on track, so I'll put a track exhaust and it will bypass it. And actually, I think we might see a recovery in sound to some of these cars because people get a workaround. But I think what will happen is you're right, TJ. You're going to see a lot of these like fledgling companies set up, raise money, create these enthusiast cars. They'll be too expensive. They won't sell enough of them. They'll go under, and the larger OEMs will buy those names potentially out of administration, and they'll run them as standalone entities, maybe owning a share in them, a bit like, you know, VW did with Bugatti. And then maybe they put the manufacturing processes in place where they can actually bring down the cost of those cars so that actually they can manufacture them more cheaply. And I think all of this is going to take 10, 15 years. But by that point, I think we would have got there with e-fuels. So we won't all be worrying so much about electric cars. I think we would have figured out a way on sound as well. But I still think it will be the mainstream manufacturers. And I think you can do it as long as you've got enough volume of boring cars. Like, look at what Toyota's doing. They just started up GR. Like, GR is so good. It's now a completely sub-brand. So you've got Lexus, Toyota, GR, and their new V8 sounds awesome, looks awesome as well. So it gives me a bit of hope. I don't think everything is lost. About a few years ago, I was done, and I thought, you know, come 60, I'm just going to have to top myself because I'm not going to be able to drive any cars anymore. Oh no, that might get removed from YouTube. But no, I think it will be all right.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Funnily enough, I saw Jaguar adverts from Jaguar itself offering to buy back their old classics. Literally an ad saying, if you own any special Jaguars from the past, please let us know. We want to buy them back from you. So I was like, wonder what that's about.
Building out their heritage collection, probably.
Could just be that. It could just be that. If anyone knows why they're doing that, let me know in the comments. But that's probably a good place to finish up with our final ending point of our pod, which is favorite member car of the week. And I'll kick things off. I was talking about the drive out we had around Oxfordshire last weekend, and we had a gentleman turn up in a Lamborghini Huracan Aveo, which was a special edition Huracan. he was explaining to me what it was celebrating. It's like an sort of like a military Air Force edition of some sort, which was interesting. So it's got like it's got some numbers basically on the side and stitched into the seats, but it's a beautiful color. It's kind of like a matte blue color with white details, white trim. And I was talking to him, and as I was looking at the car, I was noticing the white trim and the matte blue and the black wheels. And I was like, do you know what would be really cool on this car? If you tied in those wheels with the white trim and you made them white. I think you need to respray these wheels white. And at first he was like, what are you talking about? No, of course you couldn't do that. And I was like, look, just put it into ChatGPT, ask it to change the wheels to white, and then tell me I'm an idiot afterwards, right? So I get a message the following day, and he's posted me the photos with the white wheels that have been AI mocked up, and he's like, "You have a point." But anyway, that was it was a lovely car. It was nice to go to sit in it and admire it. So yeah, that's my member car of the week.
I agree. If he's listening to this pod, go on and do it. It would look cooler in white wheels.
Let us know in the comments. I'll put up both photos. Let me know which one you prefer.
Yeah. Right. Well, my pick of the week is a regular member that we have, and he'll probably be delighted to know that we are choosing his car, because we've seen his comments on some of our previous pods. Sort of questioning why we still haven't chosen his car, but I've got good reason. I'm not just picking it out of guilt, because in the 90s group of the Evo eras test that I've been reading this week is a TVR Griffith 500. So I've not known that much about the car, and this is what this member has. I've not really known that much about it, so reading up about it was really interesting actually, and it does sound like a very fun car, sort of proper. It's almost what an AMG should be today, which I'm sure is why he owns it, because he also is the head of business at Mercedes. So so it's a good thing, I'm sure, for people that come in to buy an AMG from him. They go, oh, you own a TVR Griffith, good, you know what you're talking about. But big V8, cool thing. I mean, convertible, manual, cool simplistic design, and sounds properly good. I mean, we've heard him a few times at events and stuff. It does sound really great, that grumbly V8 muscle sound. So and actually a cool thing, I think probably a lot of car for the money by the sounds of it. Reading the Evo review of it, I think they were really positive about the dynamics of the car as well, which surprised me. So I'd like to go out for a spin in it at some point with you listening to this podcast. So my pick is
talk about how Mercedes lost its soul whilst you're driving along in the TVR Griffith.
Exactly.
He's still trying to sell new ones, mate. Like you got. So we basically bashed Mercedes for this whole pod, whilst also saying that the guy who runs head of business at Mercedes, he doesn't even own a Mercedes. He'll try and sell you one. No, I'm joking. I'm joking if you're listening. Mine was the C63 Cabriolet, just because of what he'd done to it, how good it sounded. So that was my favorite. He's actually coming. Both of those members that we've just discussed are coming to our event tomorrow, which is at Podium Place. We've sold that out. It's completely full. I'm actually worried about how much space Podium Place has got, given how many people we've got arriving. But it should be good. Got a few 720Ss coming tomorrow. Actually, we got 3.
Oh wow!
So
nice. Oh. That's going to be fun. So by the time you're listening to this pod, it would have been last Saturday. So we'll tell you all about it in the next episode. So until then, I think that's a good place to close up. We will see you next week on the Ottano podcast. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and let us know if you'd like us to cover any topics in future episodes. Let us know in the comments. And until next time, we shall see you around. Cheers, guys. Take care.
Thanks all.
Thanks, James.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye bye.
Cheers, guys.